unfortunately, that is the
You
end
call
of this
me?
video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.
Yo?
What do you...
Oh, you're lagging. Are you out right now?
I don't know. I switched to Wi-Fi. Is it still laggy?
Oh, no, you're fine. Oh, man.
What's up?
Oh, not much, man. It's just that, it's been 2 days. I know which videos to watch because I want any TOS or whatever. And I want to have the world news context, and I couldn't get it. And today there's like a speech, and I want you to know your take about the Biden speech. Thanks.
What did you say when?
Wait, right now, didn't you watch it?
No, I'm in fucking Amsterdam, partying.
Dude, you're fucking what?
I'm in Amsterdam.
Why?
Because I have a fucking fiance, and if I don't spend time with her, she'll dump me.
Yeah, but if you don't spend time with your chat, they'll dump you.
My chat is a bunch of parasocial losers. They're never going to leave me. I can treat them however I want. Here's a pro tip. Ignore everything you read on the internet about Afghanistan, because everybody talking about it is a fucking moron, okay? That's all you got to do.
What about Hassan, though?
He's probably the biggest moron. Everything you read on the internet right now is just fucking stupid. Everything is... Here's the short version, okay? Afghanistan is fucked, okay? It was always going to be fucked. 20 years ago, it was fucked. 10 years ago, it was fucked. Today, it was fucked. It sucks. The Taliban are evil. Whoever's saying that, like, oh, it's good, the Taliban are better than the U.S., those people are morons, and they're probably very white. And, yeah, that's it. Everything's just super fucked.
Okay. Would you... Okay, in all honesty, would you qualify your take as far out or not?
No, it's factually what happened. Trump tried to put us on a timetable to leave by May 1st of this year. I think they've negotiated something with the Taliban saying that we'd leave by May 1st. When Biden came in, he said we're going to do like a protracted withdrawal, and then we were supposed to be out by September 1st. But I don't think anybody, the United States included, everybody knew that the Afghanistan National Army was garbage, but nobody thought they were this bad. It was like just unbelievable. Like people were thinking that like in probably 3 to 6 months, the Taliban would be rolling into like Kabul and would take over the rest of the major cities, but it happened in like weeks, and nobody was ready for them to literally just drop everything and run. But people saying shit like, "Oh, America gave them armor. Like we should have taken all the weapons back." What were we going to do? Steal everything back from the military and fly away? Like we couldn't do that. Like there was no good way to leave Afghanistan. It was just, it's always been fucked. There's just there was no good way out of that horrible fucking situation that we've been in for like 20 fucking years.
Okay, so I think maybe I didn't understand right. I think what Biden said, by the way, Biden, he did it. Listen, he was running out of steam. Listen, maybe they need to up the coffee in the morning or something like that. I'm not kidding about this. Maybe a little juicer magooser. It seemed like about 2 minutes in, he was already running out of steam, and he was slowing down, and he felt like he was just reading the teleprompter, which is no energy and no soul. It just felt like he was talking, explaining something that he doesn't care about. It was kind of odd.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that like it looks really, really, really bad for NATO and for the United States, because you've got to figure that we've spent 20 years supposedly like training and pumping money into these people to get them ready to kind of like stand on their own. And the second we leave, it just completely collapses. You've got like people just like throwing their weapons down and walking the fuck away. And like the Taliban are literally in the Capitol building, like in days, like after moving. It looks really bad. You have to understand there's like no good way that a U.S. president could spin it. There's nothing you can say. Like it's completely fucked. I think that like you could kind of tell. I think a few weeks ago Biden gave a speech, and I think he was saying like we trust that the ANA will do their best, but like I think they knew it was fucked. Like there's just no way. They're so unbelievably incompetent. And then the Taliban is insanely competent. They're getting help from fucking like Pakistan and like other people. Supposedly Russia are like not confirmed, but like are helping to like train these people. Like they were just the Afghanistan army was never in a position to stand up against the Taliban. It was never going to happen.
But the one that they're doing that, what did they gain from doing that?
Who gain from doing what?
What did they gain from helping the Taliban?
Well, I mean, like Pakistan has always had like a good relationship with the Taliban, and the U.S. main interest is we don't like the idea of Afghanistan being kind of like a safe harbor for other terrorist groups, so like Al Qaeda or other people. And the idea is that if the Taliban is running Afghanistan, more terrorist groups can kind of like base out of there, get support from there, and have like a safe harbor from kind of like international eyes, basically.
Okay.
So that's kind of why we were trying to prop up the Afghan government, and we wanted them to be like a little bit more stable and friendly to the U.S. But with so much support in that region for the Taliban, and them being like, you can't like occupy a country forever and try to kill like insurgents there. It doesn't work that way. Like people try to compare it to like, oh, well, we did in Japan or Germany, but like that was different. You didn't have like a whole bunch of people in that country still fighting back against you and shit.
Okay.
It was more like Vietnam. Like the only way to really win is to like basically glass the whole fucking country. You'd have to like nuke everything. There's just no way. You can't do it.
Okay. So you think, or you think that they think that it's like the route to some stuff, and they're trying like to stop it, or to like make it not as bad.
Yeah, the U.S. just doesn't. Yeah, the U.S. just doesn't want, or NATO forces, or Europe, whatever, just doesn't want Afghanistan to be like a breeding ground for terrorist groups. Basically, like we don't like the idea that they could, like fester in there. Basically, is the idea. I've heard mixed things though. I haven't read it enough, but supposedly the Taliban don't want that either now because they don't want. Like technically, the Taliban wants the U.S. to leave and to fuck off and everything because they can run that shit and they can basically lock it down. So I don't know. Maybe they'll be a little bit more careful about that shit happening too.
But what is their ultimate goal then? What if it happens if everybody leaves and they do take over? Let's say, then what?
Yeah, they're just going to run the country. It's just their country. The Taliban will run it. That's what they want.
Okay.
They just want to run the country. They'll just run the country. It's like the government, the de facto government, right?
Oh, okay. Jesus. Oh, like literally, like occupy the big places and replace the offices and the people of power or whatever. And
well, I mean, like it depends. Well, you have to be careful when you use the word occupy, because some people would argue that Afghan National Army, the government that we were supporting, that was technically the occupying force, and that NATO and the United States, that we were the occupiers, and the Taliban might have more of a claim to like running the government there. So they don't see themselves as occupiers. They saw like the ANA and they saw the US and NATO as occupiers, and now they're like getting their country back, kind of is how they see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, so you were saying is that if things that come from not this place are too prominent and so much, now they're occupying it and now they have control or whatever. So now, okay, I understand it because there's too much. Right. Okay. Well, I have another question. You still with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw Azan tweet something about mineral. What's up with the mineral?
No, it's fucking stupid. It's dumb as fuck. People claim that like there's like this really naive thing on the left and the right where they're like, oh, the U.S. is just in places for oil and for mineral. Nobody's gonna send fucking machines over there in a place that is as unstable as that to try to do like rare earth mineral extraction or whatever. Like that's just bullshit.
Okay, that was one of my thought. It seemed how do you call this? Not logically, it's logistically kind of a crazy hassle. Now, elaborate more.
Yeah, nobody is like sending like the main industry that took off there was was it opium? What are the plants?
Where?
Like we poured so much money, but there's like a drug that they manufacture there. Fuck, I don't remember what it was. I think it has to do with opiates. I should remember the name. Poppy.
Oh, poppies? Yeah, poppies. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Like that's like the main fucking like blossoming industry. That's why they make like so much fucking money over there. But the idea that like the United States, the reason why we occupy places will vary from region to region, but what we were mainly interested here is like, I'm pretty sure we just want another friend in the Middle East, but we want a place that isn't like friendly towards our enemies or can harbor people that can turn into potential enemies. Like that's the main issue why we were so interested in Afghanistan.
Okay.
It wasn't because we were trying to like go and mine and drill for fucking rare earth minerals there. Like that's fucking delusional.
Well, is there any evidence to support that? Or shows that's what they want, or is that fabrication?
That shows that we want to get like
minerals, or they're getting minerals, or they have machinery getting minerals, or it's an ongoing process, or is there evidence and shows that that's what they're actually actively doing, or it's what they're actively trying to work towards?
I don't think so. like if you look back in 2019, like we dropped more bombs on that country than we ever have, and the Taliban were still making progress everywhere. Like there's no way that the U.S. ever thought that they were going to be able to get like a stable like mineral extraction like bit. Like I've never seen anything. Maybe if there's evidence for it, maybe it exists, but I've never seen that before. But I think that I just don't think that that's the reason why we cared about that country so much. It was geopolitical interest, not like resource extraction.
Geopolitical makes sense. Okay. Do you think the U.S. has done a decent job at achieving their goals with the resources that they're putting in, and doing a good job overall with the whole situation? Yes or no?
In Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It's like been an international embarrassment probably for the past 2 decades. Like we've spent, dude, there are schools in Afghanistan that are getting more money than some U.S. schools. There was a really big leak, if you're ever interested, called the Afghanistan Papers. And it goes over a lot of the, like, we dumped so much money into that country. And just as like a quick thing, a lot of people think that money helps countries, or that billionaires help countries, or that whatever. Like the thing that helps a country is strong institutions.
Infrastructures.
So, yeah, infrastructure and institutions. And Afghanistan's institutions were incredibly corrupt. Like there are things called ghost soldiers, where you've got like Afghan generals that are like, claiming money for themselves, pretending they're paying a bunch of soldiers, and they don't exist. A lot of the people that train there just like you can look at like YouTube videos of like them trying to learn how to do jumping jacks.
Yeah. Question about that. It's interesting that you brought that up. Would that be a data like anomaly or an outlying data in a big cloud of data, or is that such an issue that it's so prominent that it's one of the main problems that something like this happens?
In terms of like us occupying other countries, or what do you mean?
No. That money being used like that, is that like a one isolated instance or whatever, or 1 or 2 or 5 that aren't a big deal compared to the bigger picture, or is it like actually a crazy big problem with how they're managing the funds?
Are you saying like just in Afghanistan or around the world?
Afghanistan.
My understanding is that there's a lot of corruption in the Afghanistan government. A lot of money is just wasted and squandered. That's like a pretty like.
So
that's not very
chunk.
Controversial. Yeah. Like for an example, it's been so long since I've read these, but like for example, I think in some of these papers you would have like, you know what like a block is?
A block? No, what's a block?
Like where like houses might be, like, oh, you live like 2 blocks, or there's like a street full of like
a block. Yeah.
There would be like a few blocks, and they would have like these like yearly allocations in like the millions of dollars for investment, and like we pumped an ungodly amount of money into that country. And I don't know where the fuck it went. Nobody knows where it went. Like some people say that a lot of it just flows through the Taliban. A lot of it flows through to the illegal drug trade. A lot of it is just squandered or stolen by people in the Afghan institutions. Like it's just like fuck. There's just like so much money that we poured into that country. Is it 2 trillion? I don't. It was
trillion.
It was in the trillions. Yes, trillions. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then one more question. Okay, I'm getting carried away. There's too many. What do you think that the U.S. could do a better in terms of the conflicts that are happening, but also at helping and fostering a better growth for infrastructure and institution?
I think that the first thing, that's a really complicated question. The thing that I would dream of is the United States needs to be more honest about what our goals are. I think that, or at the very least behind the scenes, know what our goals are. Because I think that like a lot of the public gets really mind fucked. Like we're not in Afghanistan to give freedom to the Afghan people. We're not like going someplace to like we say that a lot. We sell that to the world. We're going for freedom. We don't give a fuck about freedom. We're looking to create like these stable islands that we have high geopolitical interest in, so that we can prevent like foreign people, like potential terrorist groups or other countries from like staging attacks at allies out of these places. Like that's our main interest, right? That was our main interest in Iraq. That's why we kept Saddam. Like how can you say that we care about freedom and then you keep Saddam there after the first Gulf War, after he's using chemical weapons against Kurdish people or invading and like slaughtering, Kuwaiti people? Like you can't do that, right? So I think that if the US was honest about its objectives, number one, and then number two, I think that when you have like a military mission, I think that you have to have clear mission objectives. If your mission objective is to build a country, then you have to own it. Like, we need to send like a surge of like 20 or 30,000 troops there. We need to go to fucking war with all the Taliban in the east, and we need to clear them the fuck out, and we need to bomb the fuck out of Pakistan if they try to do it. That's what you would have to do. But the problem is, like, we go half in. So we'll say, like, we're going there to give freedom to the Afghanistan people, and we're going to build the nation, but we don't send enough troops to do it. And we're not really honest about we're there, and then like everything is just fucked. You can't go like half in like that, you know. I think that's the big problem.
Okay.
If you want to go hard and do it, you got to go really fucking hard and do it. You can't go like half in and do whatever the fuck we've been doing for 20 years.
Okay, I thought that's what Joe Biden was saying. When he said it, I think the plan was to like ramp up the juice for a little bit, be done with it, and then pull out. I think they were gonna ramp up the juicer, like finish, and then get out. And he said that the next president wouldn't have to deal with any of these issues because they would be over with. Do you believe that?
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure when Trump pulled, the problem is that like there's a lot of like shit that goes on with this. Another problem is that Western countries we're democracies. So a lot of our military action is going to tie into how popular it is with the public. When Trump pulled out, Trump had on the table negotiated an extraction deal with the Taliban, and he'd left the U.S. troops there at like their minimum numbers. Can you imagine if Joe Biden comes into office and does a troop surge in Afghanistan? He can't do it. It would be so unbelievably politically unpopular that he can't really do it. All he can do is say like, oh, well, this is the timetable that we're leaving, you know? There was like, we could send more troops there, but we're just unfortunately delaying the inevitable. I don't think, and to be clear, to like underscore all of this, like the Taliban like taking over Afghanistan is not a good thing. So for all like the dipshits online that are like, oh good, the Taliban get their country back. Like, these people are horrible fucking people. These people make Saudi Arabia look like a progressive country. Okay, it was upwards of like 60 to 80% of marriages were fucking forced. They will fucking like rape and marry 12-year-old girls. They weren't allowed to go to school. If you were injured as a woman and you wanted to go to the hospital, you had to have a man with you. Otherwise, another male doctor couldn't look at you. You weren't allowed to learn how to read. Like that, like the Taliban owning that country is super fucked up, to be clear. So I'm not like siding with the Taliban, but I can't really side with the US either, because like we're trying to go in and like directly confront like another, you know, military, the Taliban, who are being supported by another nuclear power, Pakistan, right? So what the fuck is, it's fucked. There was no path forward for us in Afghanistan. We just can't do it. It was just fucked from the beginning. Everything is like really sad and tragic with how everything is turning out now. Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you explained. I think I'm getting a lot of information. It's just that sometimes it's kind of hard with politics because there's a lot of bias and a lot of people say things and it sounds like they're saying a fact or a truth, but in fact it's kind of like opinionated. So it's really hard for me to understand what's really happening when all I hear is the oil, the mineral.
Yeah, and because the main take you're going to see online, and unfortunately, because this is just where the conversation is everything that happens is bad because a billionaire said it, or because military contractors are making all the money. That's why the U.S. only goes to war because of military contractors. Fucking bullshit. That's not. We're in places because of like where like our population will support us being there. That's exactly as it goes. If we were there because we wanted to just like get a bunch of military contractors to make a whole bunch of fucking money, we would have stayed there for longer. We would still be in fucking Iraq. We would have never left. Like, our military allocation in the Middle East like definitely squares with where the public opinion is with like war funding and stuff. That was one of the things that Trump ran on, remember, was pulling us out of the Middle East, and Biden followed through on that timetable because even the Democrats know that like staying in the Middle East is just so unbelievably politically unpopular. Like, it's fucked. That's why we left it. Arguably, you can say that like us leaving Iraq was pretty similar. We left that country in a sad state. The military were woefully ill-equipped. And when ISIL in Syria got really fucking powerful, they just came into Iraq and they took all their shit too. And that's where a lot of like ISIS got their early equipment from when they started moving into Iraq and everything.
Okay, jeez. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. It's just that yeah, okay. Well, I think that was very usually what I try to say is that, oh, I'm gonna talk to this guy or that guy. I don't endorse what they say, and I don't take what they say as the truth. But I appreciate the input, and I can extract the core facts and keep them for myself so I can learn from it, right? And get multiple takes, whatever. So I appreciate your input, and that was good.
If you but this is just like
Yeah,
my suggestion. Obviously, you can do things as you want. Usually, when people look at like why we're involved in a conflict, they're very national focused. So if you ask somebody like, why is the U.S. over in Iraq, or why is the U.S. in Afghanistan, usually people will give you answers about the United States. Like, oh, it's because of our military contractors, or because they want to lie to the public, or blah 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 blah. It makes way more sense when you look at these areas. Like, just kind of look at like, who are the armies in a certain area, or like, what do these armies do? How do they interact with other countries? And when you start looking at things through that lens, you'll start to get so much more information about like, so for instance, like, why does the United States have a huge interest in Iraq? Well, we're friends with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is very much not friends with places like Iran. And the idea of like Iran and Iraq and Syria, like all three coming together and being friends, is like really bad for the United States allies. And when you look at things through that lens, I think that things start to make way more sense on like a bigger geopolitical landscape, rather than just looking at things like, oh, it's because America wanted to make money and steal all their fucking minerals. Like, the U.S. has a huge economy. Like, we don't even fucking get that much oil from fucking not OPEC. From all the big oil fucking countries anymore. Like, we fucking refine and do all that shit from fucking Canada. We get a lot of this shit on ourselves. Like, we don't need to go to war with countries to do like rare earth mineral extractions and shit. Like, even China doesn't do that shit anymore, like on a hard military level. Like, it's so stupid to think that we would invest so much money into doing this shit when we have so many other like economically viable ways to accomplish like these kind of economic ends. Like, all of it is geopolitical. It's not just like a few companies want to get rich, so somehow they've hijacked our whole fucking military complex.
Okay. Can these things be debunked over time in a healthy way or not?
There's no way to debunk them. It's kind of like it's trying to debunk like the Jewish question, right? Like, how do I prove to you that like Jewish people don't control the whole world? Like, there's no way to do it, because the people aren't usually presenting evidence. They'll just show you something like, oh, like this guy is friends with this guy, and he's like in a big military, contracting position. Here's the thing. You know how people always say like, oh, it's so fucked up that like lobbyists come from companies and blah blah blah. That's because everybody works in those industries. It's kind of like how, in esports, like how a lot of players become like coaches and then team owners, and a lot of it's because everybody's in the industry. Like, no fucking shit. Like, do you think a fucking librarian is gonna go and work as like a fucking military lobby? Like, of course not. Everybody's gonna be in industry, right? Like, a lot of these things have really simple explanations, but people like to go right to the conspiracy because it's more entertaining, and then they don't have to do any reading or research. Anytime something bad happens, they can just blame evil billionaires or evil military contractors, and then they can save their own mind from having to engage with the actual reasons of like why these countries get fucked up, or the histories of these countries or whatever. And everything is so much simpler and easier to like hate.
Okay, I mean, some of these things at face value, I agree with outright. I think some of these content we presented were pretty good. That wasn't a bad take. Okay, all right. Well, to wrap this up, you're traveling right now, and you're out there in Europe. Did you get the vaccine or what?
Yeah, of course. I'm double vaxxed. The Pfizer shot. You get 2 shots. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're maxed out. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What do you tell the people that say 0.02 death rate and not approved FDA lol? What do you think about that?
They should get shot, thrown in a ditch in a video game.
Listen, you need to use words that aren't as hardcore when you're speaking to my people.
I meant shot. I said shot like at the vaccine. Wait, what did you think I meant? Like it's shots.
I thought you meant like they get shot like with a gun.
No, what? Why would I ever say that? That would be horrible. I mean, like the reality is that like these fucking losers are literally putting the entire fucking world at risk. These guys are like bioterrorists. Like, not getting vaccinated and walking around publicly is basically the exact same as just running around and like shitting in the street and smearing it on everybody, and then saying like how many people actually die from getting shit on them every year, right? It's the dumbest, stupidest thing in the world. Like, they're literally turning their fucking bodies into these bioweapon factories to see how many variants they can fucking breed, because they're too lazy or stupid or conspiracy fucked in their head to actually go and get a fucking shot. Like, it's so ridiculous. I know that you're younger, but like I'm 32. When I was a kid, like getting vaccines wasn't like a fucking controversial thing. It's just something you did.
Yeah. I never heard anybody talk about a vaccine in any way, shape, or form when I was a kid and getting vaccine for all the things at school. I don't think I've ever heard an adult or a kid or a worker or a teacher speak about a vaccine like it's anything else but what it is.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell when people are like ideologically motivated because they like everybody says like this dumb fucking things. They're like, oh well, if you get vaccinated, you can still get sick. Like, oh, you can still blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, if you put your seatbelt on, you can still die in a car accident, right? Like, there's like a million. If you put a helmet on when you ride a bike, you can still die in a motorcycle accident. Like, there's a million things that could still kill you, but it's all about like mitigating risk. And the problem is that like the more people are exposed to infections, the greater the chance you have that one of these things are going to mutate, and then the greater the chance you have that it's going to become more infectious or more deadly. So, for instance, the R naught, the number of people that are likely to get infected from one person for the normal virus, I think is 3, and from the Delta variant, it's like 6 to 10. So, like, it's just absolutely unbelievable that people won't take, like, and these are, like, the minimum fucking steps. Like, personally, I would rather get vaccinated than have to wear a fucking mask everywhere because that shit is annoying, especially at the gym or especially when you go out to eat or when you're walking and it's hot outside. Like, what, like, wearing masks suck. Like, just get fucking vaccinated. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, this take was pretty spot on. That's what I was saying in the chat, but people will still get mad at me. They keep saying like,
yeah, because people respond with like dumb shit. But you can tell that they don't actually care. They're not thinking about it, right? Like anytime somebody says like you can still get sick, like you know that you can do that with anything, right? Like why would you ever take a shower? Like you could still get sick, or you could still smell bad, or why would you ever wear shoes? You could still step on a nail, or why would like it's just so fucking stupid, right? Like nothing in life is 100%. You know, you take risks. Right? Why would you ever get pregnant? You know, you could have a baby that's as dumb as a Twitch chatter. Why the fuck would you ever do it like anything? Like it's so dumb. Why ever take birth control? Like you could still be a 0.1. Like people are like, oh, like 0.2%, but like you can still get pregnant if you wear a condom. Like you can still get pregnant if you're on birth control. Like you can still get like yeah, it's just dumb. It's fuck. I don't care about all the other stuff like the Afghanistan or like socialism or any of that. The vaccine stuff really bothers me because I have anti-vaxxers in my own fucking family now, and we've had like 2 family members die from the fucking coronavirus. And like my mom is sending me Facebook memes about how if you get injected with any of these vaccines, you're gonna turn into like metal and like stuff will stick to you. It's like absolutely fucking insane.
Metal will stick to you?
Yeah, my mom, Melina was with me. My mom was literally joking. She was like, "Yeah, your dad got vaccinated. I'm gonna wait a month and try to stick a magnet on him, and I'll see if I want to get it or not." Like,
Jesus. Okay. Wow. I mean, wait a minute. That'd be kind of sick though. You could be like Magneto. Okay.
yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like it seems like people don't take it like people downplay the fuck out of it and like, oh dude, look at the death rates, oh mega lol, and then all of a sudden somebody in their parents gets sick, and then it's like oh my god, guys, take me as an example, man, go get vaccine. All of a sudden it's like a big ass swap, and it's like very odd. It's like it's really crazy to me that
I wanted to spend a day just going over like all like I think there's like a picture that's floating around on the internet now. There were like 6 Republican. I don't know if they were all in media or like small radio hosts or whatever. There were like 6 people that were all like anti-vaxxers and joked about masks and shit. And I think 3 of them have died so far. And they're not like super old. These are guys like in their 40s and 50s. They're not like in their 90s or whatever. Like reasonably healthy people, as healthy as Republicans are. But like, yeah, I don't know. There have been like so many people at this point that have had like Facebook posts making fun of masks and making fun of like vaccines and shit, and like then they die from the coronavirus. Like it's unbelievable. I wonder if they wonder about it, like when they're dying in bed, like barely able to fucking gasp for air, like oh god, like I'm gonna look so bad on Facebook after I fucking die like an idiot. Like
I think from what I've seen that I mean the suffering, I think that'd be kind of like the least of their worries, how it's going to look. I mean I think fuck, I was gonna say something else. There was one last thing. There was one last thing. I don't remember what it is. It was probably vaccine related, to be honest. I think. Listen, I actually wanted to get the shot, and you know what? It took me, I think, 8 or 9 minutes total in and out of the place. It was like bang bang, and I'm a nobody. I come from Canada, you know, and I'm in the United States. I literally got in there. Bing, bang, out, and for free. at a local.
I mean, that's literally, yeah. Melina did the same thing. Like in Sweden, it takes like, I don't know what they're doing now, but before in Sweden, you'd like sign up for one shot in a month, and then you'd have to wait like 2 months to get the second one. But Melina came in with me. We're in a fucking grocery store in America. This is what it's like in America. You're in the grocery store, and they're on the intercom, and they're like, "Please come get vaccinated. We'll give you $10 off your groceries. Please come to the bag." Like it's that free. Like they're trying so hard, and fucking 55% of these fat, stupid, diabetic-ridden fucks won't just go to a goddamn grocery store and get a fucking vaccine. For the first time in your life, you have access to free fucking medical shit in the United States, and these fucking losers won't do it. It is one of the most embarrassing and shameful moments of our history. Holy shit. It is so sad.
Now that you put it like that, that's actually pretty facts. You're right. That now that it's free and it's actually helpful, nobody is actually getting it. Interesting. Okay. Now that we're done with that, last thing. Dude, listen, I've had bad takes, okay? And people are roasting me for my bad takes, but this one, people are really rolling me over it, and it makes me feel insecure that my take is so bad, okay? Take on Carson.
Carson, okay.
The Carson thing, texting at 1917, who? Thoughts?
Who the fuck cares? 17 and a 19-year-old? Like, who the fuck cares? This is like problems on Twitter, by Twitter, and for Twitter. Like, this is like the dumbest shit in the world. Like, these are people where it's like you're a senior in high school and you're dating and you have like a junior girlfriend, and then you go to college and everybody on the internet calls you a pedophile. Like, it's absolutely fucking unbelievable. A lot of people on the internet don't know what grooming is. They just say it all the time. And the idea that like the difference between people will say like abuse of power too, and they don't know what that means either. It's just a whole bunch of like buzzwords that people throw around. I want to be really clear. It might be the case that Carson like did some really fucked up or bad shit. I didn't see logs of that anywhere. I just saw logs of him like flirting and shit. And like, who the fuck cares? To be really clear, can I define like two things real quick?
Go.
Grooming, the act of grooming, okay? Grooming is when you present yourself as like an innocent friend, oftentimes to a younger person, and then you manipulate that later into a sexual relationship. So like an example of grooming might be that like you're like a 22-year-old guy and there's like a 16-year-old that plays soccer after school, and you start playing games with him and other people, and then like maybe in a few months you're like, oh, we should go take a shower and blah blah blah, and then you start to like you've earned like a position of trust in a non-sexual position, and then you exploit it in a sexual way. That's what grooming is. Grooming is super fucked because it destroys people's ability to trust other people. So if a 25-year-old goes up to a 15-year-old and he's like, hey, you want to fuck? I'm going to fuck you. That's not fucking grooming. That's just a pedophile, or that's just a guy trying to fuck somebody that's too young. That's not grooming. Every single time an older person tries to fuck a younger person, even if it's illegal or against age of consent, even if it's a 60-year-old and a 10-year-old, it's not grooming for them to just walk up and be like, oh, I want to fuck. Grooming refers to like the specific process of gaining a younger person's trust and then later on abusing that and exploiting that in a sexual way after they trust you in a non-sexual manner. That's what grooming means. And I don't think I've ever seen anything from Carson where he's like being like really manipulative or really crazy in DMs, where he's saying shit like, oh, like, yo, no, like we should date. Like if you send me nudes, like I'll feature you in my YouTube channel. Or like, oh, come on, don't you want to send me nudes? Like I'm a really big YouTuber. Like that'd be really cool. That would be an example of like abusing a position of power. Just talking to a fan isn't abusive in and of itself. It doesn't make any sense to say that. It's fucking stupid.
Okay. That's okay. I agree with the last part. I mean, I agree with the whole take as long as I learn from it and I become smarter about it. I just thought that it would it could be dangerous to leave people to draw the gray line on this about the age gap thing, and it's why sometimes we have things that are black and white. It stops at this age. This is black. This is white, and for people to make their own judgment on what is too much or what is acceptable, and to widen or narrow that gap or whatever. I feel like it was a possibly or potentially a dangerous thing. No?
This gets into like a broader conversation, but like the short is that like I don't like the idea of like the problem with using ages is that nobody actually knows why it's bad for like a 25-year-old and like a 16 or a 15-year-old to like start hooking up. Like that's the problem, is that nobody actually understands why these relationships have the potential to be abusive. Instead, they just look at the ages, and then you get into really weird areas where it's like, oh my God, 1917, it's across the line. Now it's really bad. But the problem is a lot of the reasons why those older ages can be manipulative can actually be reasons why like normal relationships are manipulative. manipulative. Like, so say for instance, like say you're a 15-year-old and you don't have a lot of freedom, you don't know anything about the world, and then like some like 30-year-old guy is like coming on to you and he's got a car and his own place and like he's like pretending that he's way more worldly. Like that can kind of like mind fuck you because like, well, this person like knows so much more. He's like kind of in a big position of power over me. He can like offer me a lot that I can't get in other places. Like, and the one path through that might be like sucking his dick, like these types of relationships are really bad because of those reasons. It's not just because he's 30 and because she's 15. That's not really the reason why it's bad. It's bad because of all of the things that person has experienced and that person can offer, and because the younger person just doesn't know any better because they're not in that position of power, right? And if you think about it, like if you go back, like even 100 or 200 years, right? Like people would get married and shit at 13 and 14, right? Was that always like rape or was that always horrible? Like in some cases, yeah, it might have been. But another problem too is that like you can find people that are like 21 or 22 that still live with their parents. They go to college. They've never had a job. Like theoretically, like a 21, 22-year-old in that position could be super taken advantage of by like a 22 or 23-year-old that is like super independent, has her own job, is wealthy, has a car. Like, and you don't even need a big age gap to do it,
Okay.
So like, I guess like,
Yeah.
when I look at like Carson stuff, when you say like 19 or 17, like that doesn't mean much. What I would look for is like you look at the conversation. If Call Me Carson, if the girl is saying things like oh my god, like I've never gotten to travel out of state before, I've never gotten to leave, and Carson is like, oh really? Well, if you want, like you can go to like you can go to PAX West and I'll fly you out and we can like share a room and I can introduce you.
Yeah,
and if
I
she's
get
like,
it.
oh my god, like yeah, I want to meet these people. And like
using the experience or things that you've gotten out of age to leverage it or to use it again. These patterns.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that is like, that's the abusive stuff. Just being popular and fucking a fan, or just being popular and having really, that in and of itself isn't bad. If the other person is not like, is able to like understand what's going on and can make decisions for themselves and like isn't going to have this stuff like leveraged against him. But I'm just saying like it's a potential for abuse with famous people. But I never saw evidence of Carson doing that,
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's always been I don't know. I'm really straight with myself and stuff like that. It's like a super hardcore no. And a very like avoid at all costs type of thing, right? So it's hard for me to relate or to see myself interacting in those ways when seeing others do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
That's actually one of the reasons why I didn't tell anybody, but maybe I told my streamer, but it's a little bit. It's why I closed my public Snapchat. I used to have a public Snapchat where I would just send a bunch of whatever. Right, and then people would like say hey, I'd say hi back, and I'd do like hundreds of messages or whatever, right? And just sometimes I'd be uncomfortable, like this message, it's nice, but it looks like it's like loaded or something, and I don't know the reg. I was like fuck it, and then it was like it was just weird to me. It's just weird.
Like 100%. And people will get mad at me for this take, but I don't care. If you are DMing somebody, you're flirting every single time, because there is absolutely no reason for you to send a private message to a large public figure unless you want to flirt with them, because otherwise just leave a public comment. Why would that's like pulling somebody aside. Like if you walked up to a party and you saw somebody that you liked in the middle of the room, you'd walk and be like, oh hey, what's up? And they'd be like, oh hey, what's up? But if you're like, hey, can you come over here to the hallway so I can chat with you a second? You wouldn't do that to say hi to someone.
Wait, okay.
You know what? 100%.
That's actually something that I don't fully agree with. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
What? Okay. Tell me why.
Okay. I think some people. It's not about. Okay. In my opinion, I think the reasons and the motives why somebody would go for a DM instead of a public message is that they want to feel like they've been interacted as an individual person that's directed to them and nobody else. A one-to-one attention that they crave so much. Not something that is out there to get social validation, something they get to get their own personal validation.
Yeah, and there might be people that do that, but I would say that's inappropriate. You shouldn't be gunning for that one-on-one interaction with somebody, because it's so unbelievably inappropriate to do that. Can you imagine in any other situation doing that? Like, say for instance, like let's say there's a college professor that everybody likes. You see him every day. You come here like, oh, hey, what's up? What up? Could you imagine like sending that person like a private message on Facebook? Or like if there was a girl or a guy in class of the opposite sex, could you imagine sending them just like a one-on-one message to say like hello to? Like in any other situation, reaching out to somebody on a private channel is considered like a relatively intimate thing. If you're doing that, then like you're sending like really fucked up signals to people. You also have to keep in mind on the other side of this, and nobody will talk about that. And these takes are unpopular. I don't give a fuck. They're true as fuck. On the other side of this too is oftentimes you have young men that, no offense, if we play fucking video games full time, we're not getting a lot of attention from women. And, you know, people will talk about like, oh, well, like a 20-year-old is in a big position of power over like a 17 or 18. Well, a fucking 18-year-old girl that looks fucking hot is also in a big position of power over like a 19 or 20-year-old guy that's never gotten attention from women in his life, you know? So like, yeah, you know, there can be power one way, but there's a lot of power in another way too. Like you will have guys that will throw away their entire fucking life like chasing some young fucking pussy. You can't tell me that that's not some type of position of power, right? And then also, and another unpopular take, I'll give these all day because it's true as fuck. Another unpopular take, a lot of guys talk about how like, oh my God, it's so immoral that this guy like fucked a fan or this guy flirted with a girl this much. Fuck you, dude. You don't have pussy thrown at you on a fucking platter ever. You have to work hard for it. When you get into like these big esports or these big like Twitch streaming positions and you have like legitimately fucking like 9 out of 10 girls that are like, hey, I want to suck your dick. Like, can you come fucking touch my boobs? Dude, 99% of guys could not fucking say no to that. They might pretend that they could on fucking Reddit, but absolutely fucking not if they were in that position, guaranteed. I don't want to be like super doomer, but there's a quote where it's like, men are only as faithful as their options. I wouldn't trust any non-celeb person to ever give a good opinion about dealing with the pressures of being like a celeb, especially if you're a young man, especially if you're a fucking nerd, and especially for the first time in your life, you've got girls throwing themselves at you. It's a really, really, really hard and difficult position to be in and to navigate.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, like I said, even though it's something that I found myself like I could fall into, I always try to work with the code. Does that make sense? Like almost like an internal rule that's like a self-regulatory like hardcore like black on white rules, like a code. And I've always had this, and it's always like really helped me in navigating these things like very easily. So, and to never like be in trouble or be caught something weird or whatever. So, and it's just nothing weird, right? And I've had because I would open like dozens, right, of DMs, right? And you know, I did it because it entertained me. So I would say, happy, it's my birthday. I'd say, happy birthday. Oh, I'm going to bed. I'd say, good night. You know, oh, I'm waking up. I'm eating this weird thing in Europe or whatever. I was like, oh, it looks good. I would just reply whatever. But then at one point, I started getting like weird ones, one that are more recurrent, right? And at one point, there was like a girl was like, my husband's in a shower, like come join me or whatever. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And then as I like more and more of those, and they were like real. And I was like, geez, I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, you know what? No. No. That's the point. It became like there was so many of them that I was like, I can't do this. I can't be on this app and have recurrent messages from actual weirdo temptation baiting dog shit all day. It's just not healthy. It's just not worth it, and I think it's a problem. So I just stopped using it entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think I understand most of the standpoints that you have, except about the DMing part. I feel like I've interacted with I'm not afraid of saying it. A lot of people know this from this chat. I've responded to probably thousands of DMs or snaps in a really like cool, almost like entertaining way. But it was saying whatever, right? And it's why I think I understand why some people DM. I think it's really like the one-to-one privatized thing that they feel like it was towards them, but not in public. That makes them feel like they're given the attention or whatever. But sometimes something that has a double-edged sword, because if it becomes too parasocial over there or too involved, people are like, oh, he answered me 4 messages in a row over the span of 2 weeks, and now he hasn't done it anymore. And look, I sent him, look, that is my birthday, and this time he hasn't replied to me. That's kind of weird. That's kind of unfair. And then now they feel betrayed, and they feel like I've pulled them just to cut them off, and that's really unlucky. And that's one of the main things, one of the reasons why I stopped responding to DMs like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's and again, like I know that like it's always going to be a popular take. I think it's incredibly inappropriate to message somebody privately unless it like needs to be a private message. So for instance, if you're trying to like fuck somebody, you're trying to like flirt with somebody, I think that it's really inappropriate to sound like a larger creator like, oh my god, like X, like I love your streams, and like looking for like a response or whatever. Like there's just no one, like it's unhealthy for you personally. Like you're gonna fuck your mind up, right? If you really want the attention, fucking donate $5 on stream, or leave a public comment on the Twitter, or somewhere on Instagram. Like the idea that you're like looking for that one-on-one interaction with somebody that streams to like 50,000-60,000 people, or has like millions of followers, like it's super unhealthy mentally, and I don't think that people should be doing that. I don't think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always felt bad because like I used to get a lot of cool DMs like, hey man, it's my husband's birthday and he watches the stream all the time and he wants you to say like a quick like hi or something like that. And I would send like videos sometimes like hey, what up man, happy birthday, whatever. But then later on, over the next couple months, because I accepted the DM, whatever it's on Instagram or Twitter, because I accepted the DM, right? Now the line of communication is now both ways, right? If they send a message, it gets to me, right? The only way to stop that is to block them, and then I would get a lot of DMs like, oh, hey man, I'm trying to buy this game. Can I get a couple bucks? Hey,
God,
could you do this or could you do that? And a lot of them ended up being about money, which made me feel like really uncomfortable. So it's like they're in the DMs, they know I received it. I had it because I accepted the initial DM, which was harmless, and now they're asking me for like V-Bucks or like Steam cards or something, and I'm like, dude, I mean, the fuck is that, man? And it makes me feel bad, but I shouldn't feel bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Have you got? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I get those emails. Sometimes people have like the sob stories, or they'll be like, oh, like my brother like lost his job and my family's really hungry and I just need like $50 or whatever for it. And it's like, bro, like what the fuck? Have you ever had people email you looking for job opportunities, where they're like, oh my god, xQc, like I want to shadow you, like I want to do this, like blah blah blah, or like, is there anything that I can help you with? Like I'll be like an unpaid assistant. Or do you get people that send you shit like that?
Oh yeah, a bunch of people that ask to be cooks, drivers, assistants, mentors, personal chauffeurs or whatever the fuck, fucking butlers. I've had this crazy amount over the years. People send me their fucking resumes and shit, and with like pictures of them, like oh, this is me, look, I'm legit, and they have like big ass beard, and they're like yeah man, I live in the area. I'm like I always thought those to be a little bit odd unless asked, you know. I don't blame them, because if one is something like, oh shit, yeah, I actually need that, yeah, it could have been cool, I guess. But other than that, it's like but other than that, I don't use my email anymore, because people, I mean they signed me up for a bunch of bullshit on that email. That email is gone. Now I get fucking jobs in your area, big schnauzer. We have new results for your test, fucking douche nozzle. And it's like, I'm on like a million fucking email lists. It's fucking stupid as shit. I've had a guy order pizza with my email to his address, and I could track the deliveries going to his address. Like, why don't you use your own email, dumb fuck? And like, I've had like such weird shit with that. It's just odd. I don't know, man. Like some of this stuff, I have to actively and mechanically remind myself that I shouldn't feel bad about it, right? But it just keeps popping up. It's like, you have to fight like normal human responses or whatever. And I think if you were susceptible to that and you didn't have those patterns, you'd fall for that 100%. You would succumb, right, to these things.
I mean, like, it's human nature too. That's why people beg on the street and make a lot of money doing it sometimes, right? Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a healthy discussion. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for accepting my call, man.
Yep, no problem, buddy.
What are you eating?
Skittles.
Okay. What about your fiance or your wife? Is she around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought maybe.
Why do you want to talk to her?
Nah.
She said hello.
I think she's sucking this this motherfucker with the CE ass haircut.
Good one. She's actually fucking like 10 guys right now. You actually called me in the middle. The reason why I didn't call is because I was crying, because I was so sad I was getting cucked. So that's why I had to wait a second to dry my tears.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Now that you brought that up,
Uh-oh.
Anytime that I was watching a video the other day about it was what would you do, right?
Okay.
And some guy was a waiter talking to some guy's girlfriend, and he would say like really mild, nothing stuff. And I was like, dude, if the dude is secure about his relationship, I mean, he won't give a fuck. It's, if anything, it's entertaining or whatever. And it can boost like his partner's like confidence that she still has it or whatever. But Chad was like a cuck, actual cuck. He's letting her talk to this guy. That's just being a cuck lord. He's being cucked right now. Takes?
Yeah.
Takes on that?
Yeah, people are insecure as fuck. I don't know if I've talked to you about this before. Have you ever had it at where you're at like TwitchCon or you're at any type of like these types of conventions where you're talking to a girl? So a girl will come up to you like, oh my God, are you like X or Destiny, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh yeah. And you're chatting for like a couple, like maybe like 20 seconds. And then like a guy will come up out of nowhere and like throw his arm around her. Like, oh yeah. Hey, what's up? This is my girl. Yeah. It's like that kind of thing.
That's a classic. It's actually why I usually keep a certain amount of distance, right? Or like an angle because I know it's coming. Just on how the interaction is going, you know for a fact they're coming in.
Yeah.
This is
feel them.
Yeah, this is so common. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I mean, it's not to be rude, which is fine if people can do that. It's most of the interactions are like that. Yeah, it's kind of and I think it's kind of odd though. It's kind of like, dude, people want like a picture, whatever. Like I just make videos and I react to like boring shit. I'm not gonna like steal your girl on the fly. Like I don't know who the fuck. I know what they feel so threatened by or by me or whatever. Like I'm a skeleton man. You know, I don't know why it happens like that.
Or like I don't know. I guess it's different because I'm in like an open relationship. But if I was in a closed relationship, like if I felt like my girlfriend was gonna leave me by just talking to a guy, like why the fuck would you even be in that relationship? Like you must be like so fucking miserable.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
if you see everybody, every male
is like a threat.
As a threat, it's dude. How can you live like this? It's that's like the very small man mentality. Like no, don't talk to this guy. No, don't do that. No, this guy's too hot. No, it's like, dude, like this will never be healthy. Like that is like.
You want like the really sad fact too is that a lot of people won't acknowledge this, but this is the truest thing in the world. Okay, and this works for guys and girls. Unfortunately, desperation is probably like the biggest fucking turnoff thing that you can ever have for somebody. And if you're worried about your partner like talking to somebody, as soon as you start like throwing off desperate vibes, you are drying that person up.
Yeah, it's already too late.
Either their pussy is turning into the Sahara Desert or the guy's dick is like retracting into his body, and you will like drive that person off so unbelievably fucking like hard, and you're completely fucked at that point. Yeah.
It's already too late. I think if you even have the thought of it, it's almost too late. And if you show any signs of it, you're absolutely GG. And I mean, and I think these are issues that people can work on over time, right? Through introspection or whatever, right? Because otherwise, if you're somebody who's insecure overall, I mean, you're never gonna have a healthy relationship, and you shouldn't be locked in that like mental jail. You can work your way out of it. There are things that you can do. To regain that confidence or whatever, right? But you have to tackle those issues, and that takes a lot of guts to admit to yourself that you see things a certain way, and to it is what it is.
Yeah, and you're super right. It's a confidence thing too, and I think people can feel that. I think like how confident you are. Like if my partner goes off and like I said, if I was in a close relationship, like if my partner is going off and talking to people, like if I was so worried that they were going to leave me, I would just dump them and go find somebody else. Like if I'm so worried about that, like what the fuck? Like you can't be like, you talk about like being locked in a prison in your mind. You can't like take the other person in prison with you and hope they're going to be happy with that. Like like everybody's going to be fucked. Like your relationship is going to be fucked. Yeah, you have to have some level of confidence that like your partners are going to instantly fucking leave you, or that level of desperation will like seep into every single part of your relationship.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard agree. See, chat as active right now, they're agreeing with everything we said, but whenever I said this solo, the exact same thing, I did not get the same response at all. Not even a little bit. It's she has seen the things that we were typing. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. No, guys, nobody. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna milk out the content. Okay, people want to know your take on Futa, but I mean, it's kind of
On foot? Oh, that's like the huge dick girls, right?
yeah.
I don't really care. I don't watch it much.
Oh, okay. Why not?
I just, you want to know why?
Yeah.
Hentai in the 90s was animated really well, and when they started switching over to all digital shit, I don't know why. A lot of it today, like the animation just sucks. There's fewer frames of unique animation. Oftentimes there's like pubes in the girl's mouth. I don't know why they draw shit like this.
Yeah, it looks like a bush, it looks like a spiky, like a fucking like animal. It's really odd.
It's really weird and really bad, and just like the way that it's animated, like the dicks are way too big, the mouths are way too small, the tits are way too fucking huge. Like everything is just like so crazy horrible. All the girls act like they're 9 years old. Oh, don't touch me there. Oh no, you're gonna make me wet. Like it's so horrible. Oh god.
It looks like my editor's saying we're running out of time.
Okay.
So Jeremy says that we're going to the next segment. Yo, seriously, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, wait, who?
Jeremy, my editor is. Yeah. Oh,
no, no.
I'm completely out of time.
Asked?
I'm completely out of time. Oh, he left. Dumb fuck. He had to. He's still mad about the last time when I did it to him. Yikes. Yikes.